What the world? Oh, man!
SHW. This is our wrestling.
Unbelievable.
You think you could walk all over me, but I don't see that happening. We're warriors.
This crowd is going ballistic.
We told you anybody could show up here tonight.
The Lynch Mob are your first ever SHW Tag Team Champions.
You're kidding me.
And listen to this crowd. They're loving it. Joe Black is your Rumblejack 2020 winner.
Unbelievable.
This is insane.
You get a moonsault, and you get a moonsault, and you get a moonsault.
And now, the voices of Southern Honor Wrestling, Brandon Benefield and Gerard Bonner.
Hey again, everybody. This is SHW. This is our wrestling, the official podcast of Southern Honor Wrestling. We are your commentary team. It's me, B Double Brandon Benefield, alongside my brother, GB Gerard Bonner. My man, how is it going?
Man, I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Just another week. I didn't want to really bring it up, but I'll just real quick. I've been a little bummed all week with the Atlanta Braves. I was excited that I really thought this might be the year because of as crazy as 2020 is. I'm like, hey, maybe we're going to get something good after all. And
they went like undefeated until they got to like game 4 or something.
Oh, it was,
unreal.
It was. I tell you what, though, you know what? They went farther than a lot of people thought they would.
Yes.
It's a young team. So I feel like, this is just the beginning stages of a good run moving forward for the next few years, hopefully. But
absolutely.
Anyways, you know what? Other than that, I've been bummed about that, but I've been excited about our upcoming show. And the crazy thing is we're not the first Friday this month of November. So it's the next Friday. It's the 13th. Yeah. So they're making us wait even longer, but I'm still excited for SHW
it's not
21.
6 months. It's not 6 months. So I'm perfectly fine with that.
Exactly.
But yeah, SHW 21 is coming. I'm excited. Of course, still here too. We're still kind of beaming off of that, and that's now on IWTV for the world to see. And pretty wild and crazy. Wild and crazy. That's a good way to describe it. Yeah, but definitely some good stuff coming. And we've got some more matches that have been announced. Of course, last week we found out right here on the podcast that Ben Buchanan will be taking on Huck. Ooh.
Exactly.
Good Lord. So if you missed that, of course, check that out wherever it is that you check out our podcast. But we've got some more matches announced for this week. What do we have?
We got, of course, so everybody remembers that last month's show, the anniversary, still here too. Ashton Starr was taking on Brian Pillman Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Ashton got the win in controversial fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, after he got the win, he once again decided to go after our very own backstage correspondent, Susie Quinn, who was at ringside. And luckily, we had a guest sitting front row just watching the show. And I'm talking about Very Morales, who a lot of folks might know from Mucha Lucha Atlanta. He's been all over the place. But he happened to be there, decided he had seen enough, jumped the rail, and made the save for old Susie Q there. But so we found out those two men are going to go one-on-one on the 13th. At SHW 21.
Yeah, that should be interesting. And I wasn't going to say anything about this, but apparently Ashton Starr is not a fan of my commentary from his last match.
I saw that. And after what happened with you and David Ali last month, I just don't want you in the same vicinity of Ashton Starr anytime soon.
He has told me, from what I can quote, keep that same energy. So I don't know what it is. I just call it like I see it. And, I just say this. He wasn't mad when, I called him the next SHW champion. He wasn't mad when we almost lost our voices when he won the title. He wasn't mad when we were highly deflated when he lost the title. He gets mad when he puts his hands on women. And that's when I get mad. So
yeah, agreed.
I mean, stop putting your hands on women. Maybe you'll like my commentary more. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I agree. And the thing is, like, I know that's a serious note there, but every time I think about us calling him winning the match, winning the belt,
oh,
it cracks me up because when I hear that audio and it's been played on some highlights, you and
yes.
I are both like,
Yeah. it was really one of the most incredible moments, and I think it
cracks
just
me up.
speaks because even when we did the look at our top 10 moments of the 2-year existence, there were so many moments attached to Ashton Starr that so many of us were attached to.
Yeah.
And so it's not a surprise that there's great emotion connected to him. And I just, hey, look, there's a new SHW champion. Maybe you try your hand at getting a shot at Joe Black, but it doesn't involve you hitting women or hitting commentators. So let's hope you can keep that same energy in the ring toward Very Morales. You might need it.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely going to need it. And I know the fans are going to be excited to see Very back in an SHW ring. I think last week or the week before I mentioned that it seemed like forever ago that he had been at SHW, but I think looking back, what did we say? It was like last December
That's right.
when he faced Owen Knight. So
that's right.
He will be back. Fans are excited to see him once again.
Very
It was just what crazy circumstances. He was just there chilling in the front row, enjoying the show. And little did we know he'd be entering the ring there to make the save for Susie. But another match that we found out about, and we're not quite sure the details just yet, other than we know that Lethal Poison will be in action. I don't know who they'll be facing, but you got to imagine that old Corey Hollis there is going to be pretty fired up after losing the SHW title. He was the longest reigning champ in SHW's short history.
Yeah.
And, he's not going to be in a good mood.
No, he won't be in a good mood at all. And if you remember, Still Here 2 was a mixed bag for Lethal Poison. Michael Judas got a big win over Ben Buchanan. And, of course, we saw Corey Hollis tap out to Joe Black and allowing Joe Black to become the new SHW champion. So Corey can't be in a good mood. Corey's not accustomed to tag team wrestling. If you remember, the last tag team match Lethal Poison had was for the SHW tag titles. And, well, Corey tapped out again. So I don't know. I don't know, who they're going to be facing this time around, but I'm sure Corey will have a lot to prove as it is his first match back since losing the championship. Doesn't mean that they'll focus their energy to go after the SHW tag titles or what they'll do. Who knows? But we'll see them in action on Friday the 13th. SHW 21. I don't know. The concept of SHW 21 being on Friday the 13th, I don't know.
So, something scary is going to happen. Maybe I don't know.
Brewing, yeah.
Who knows? But earlier you mentioned our top 10 countdown, and somebody, I want to say, was it our number 8 moment? I think I have to go back and double check, but it was a number 8.
Right.
That it was Danny Jordan and Lindsay Snow. Got a little extreme. If you'll recall from last summer. Well, one half of that pairing right there is going to be our guest tonight. I'm talking about the American Kaiju herself, Lindsay Snow. Of course, the last time we saw her here at SHW was actually earlier this year. Yeah. Actually, right before the entire world shut down, when we had our show, I guess that was SHW 18.
Yes, that's right.
In March of 2020. So we saw her in action at SHW. Actually, if you'll recall, I'll probably bring this up with her, but she almost took us out at the commentary booth at one point that night.
Oh, yes.
all thanks to Danny sitting next to us. I blame Danny for that, by the way.
Yes. A memorable moment that didn't make the countdown, but is emboldened in our minds for sure.
Right. We'll never forget it. But
we'll never forget it. That's right.
So she is our guest tonight. We're very excited to talk to her. So let's check it out, our conversation with Lindsay Snow. All right, everybody, we are back with another great interview today. We are talking to a very special guest. Some of you might know her as the American Kaiju. Others might call her the Pint-sized Powerhouse. SHW fans, you might remember her from her ongoing feud with the Short Fuse and the Real Mean Girl, Danny Jordan. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the one and only Lindsay Snow. Lindsay, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Nice.
So glad to have you. You look like you're are you in the middle of work right now? What's going on? Where are you at?
Oh, well, yeah, technically I'm working, but everybody's gone out of the shop today. I'm just like, I'm here painting like on the like windows for the tattoo shop.
Uh-huh.
So like that's what I'm about to paint. I just drew that.
Nice.
So I'm about to paint that on the windows and like gild it. And like I got into gilding lately, and it's like the process of painting gold on like glass and stuff like that. So
Oh, that's awesome. So a lot of fans might not realize this because they're used to seeing you as a wrestler, but you've been a tattoo artist for what, like 16 years or something like that?
yeah, actually, yeah, it is 16 now. Dang, I feel old. Like, I'm like used to saying like, oh, it's like I've been tattooing for like 15 years, you know. But like,
I didn't mean to call you out there. Sorry about that.
yeah, it sucks being the same age as old people, right?
I know. Hey, you're telling us, man. You're telling us. So, man, we are so excited to talk to you because we haven't seen you since, I want to say, March, right before the pandemic hit and everything got shut down. And we saw you, I think it was SHW 18. Yeah. And I think the last time we saw you was literally up close and personal when you got thrown into our commentary booth, and you our life flashed before our eyes, I think.
Dude, y'all's life flashed before your eyes. What about mine? I'm the one going through the table. Dang. Like,
oh yeah. Good point.
Oh,
but yeah, it has been. It's been a hot minute. It's sad. Like I miss coming up to Georgia. I miss coming to see like all the people at SHW. You know, like even like some of the ones backstage, I guess, are okay. But no, like I miss everybody. I miss like the atmosphere. Like it's such a great place to wrestle, and I feel like I grew a lot there last year.
Yeah,
it's interesting. The pandemic impacted a lot of people in wrestling in a lot of different ways. For you, what was the impact of the pandemic?
Oh, dude, I got so sad. Like, I couldn't train, and like, okay, like, it sucks. I can't train. Oh man, I can't tattoo too. And then like on top of that, like I can't see my friends. Like, holy crap, just take everything away from me, coronavirus.
Yeah.
But you know, I was able to like start learning how to gild things, like turn them into gold.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, I did like spend some of my time wisely during the like quarantine. Basically, like I just kind of like went down rabbit holes every night on YouTube and tried to learn some cool stuff so that I wouldn't be terribly bored with all this extra time that I'm not used to having on my hands, you know.
Sure.
Like, oh, it was wild. And like obviously like I'm a person that needs something to do constantly or else, you know, crazy.
I love that. So tell me, because you know, for those who don't know, you have an extensive history in combat sports. For you, how did your love for combat sports begin? Where did that start for you?
Well, so like my first introduction was pro wrestling. That was like my dad showing me like, you know, The Rock and like Stone Cold and stuff. And then like as I like grew older, you know, like middle school, I started watching Pride, and you know, then like I just Pride is what really got me. Like that was what sold me like 110%. Like I was just like, oh crap, like there's like these monsters like Fedor, and then you've got like little dudes like Kazushi Sakuraba, and like he's like just moving like so effortlessly, and then like dismantling Gracies and stuff. And like as much as like Sakuraba like destroyed the Gracies, like I still wanted to learn jujitsu. And then I also wanted to learn catch wrestling though because of Sakuraba.
Wow.
So yeah, those guys, like they were definitely like my idols, like growing up, like going through like middle and high school and stuff. And then after I graduated high school, I took like my first jujitsu class, and then like I ended up starting like tattooing, and I had to like devote all of my extra time to tattooing. And then you know, like when when you start tattooing, you don't realize like, oh, I'm going to be on this piece for like, you know, the next 5 hours. Oh man, I missed class again today. Like,
Right.
so it's just like, I didn't have the time to train, and like, I really needed to focus on my career in tattooing at that point. So I had to sadly put it on hold for like a few years, but you know, the last 5 years I've just been like training, and you know, I've been going to tournaments, smashing. You know, I got a Naga championship. I've gotten like bunches of like random medals from random tournaments for first place and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been like a really crazy ride in martial arts that I wasn't expecting to go on, but I like had kind of hoped like in the back of my head, like when I first started tattooing, that I would be able to come back to it.
Wow.
So as far as pro wrestling goes, like was it 2016 when you first started training for pro wrestling?
It was like the end of 2015 when I first started training, and I didn't have my first match until 2016.
Okay, gotcha. And for the fans, because we know a lot of this stuff because we're commentators and we do our research and we know all this stuff. But for the fans listening, it was Jay Lethal, right? Was one of the guys that trained you?
Yeah, Jay Lethal. He actually, I was training. Okay, so funny story, right? How tattooing kind of like goes hand in hand with me with pro wrestling. I was actually, so I'm like one of those people, like while I'm tattooing, like I'll have like, you know, my iPad will be going and I'll have like some kind of movie, or like, you know, normal people put movies on, and I put on pro wrestling, or
Yeah,
like
of course.
I put on like
Same.
you know, old Pride matches and stuff like that. But this
Right.
particular day I had on pro wrestling, and the guy that I was tattooing was like, oh, do you like pro wrestling? You know, like, oh, that's rare. Like, see a girl like watching pro wrestling, like choosing to watch pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dude, I love this shit. I want to be a pro wrestler. Like, yes, like I love this. And he was like, oh, that's funny because I'm a pro wrestler. And if you want to come train, like if you think you actually want to do this, here, come to this place. And so like I went to that dojo, and I trained there for like a couple of weeks. And I randomly I met these guys called the Dirty Blondes, Mike Patrick and
they've been at SHW a couple times, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So Mike Patrick actually looked out for me super hard. He was like, hey, you should probably not train in this dude's backyard. You should come train at Jay's and learn like the right way so that you don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
And so
Smart.
So good looking out, MP, and thanks for introducing me to Jay, because like as soon as I met Jay, like we hit it off, and he was like, oh, you're a shooter, you know, and I was like, yeah. But so that was pretty cool. Super awesome of MP to like bring me over there and like make the introduction, you know, because it's all about like getting that good introduction, you know, and then like building on like from there, you know what I'm saying? Like making that good first impression and then building on from there. It's crazy that that Jay like had faith in me, like from not knowing me that much, you know, but I guess he like saw potential in me. Yeah. And like it was funny, like it was difficult for me to like not put people in shoot stuff at first.
Right.
Yeah.
Jay thought that was like the funniest thing ever. He'd be like, or like it took me a while to learn like how to like give clotheslines to people, you know, and he would just like put me up in the like in the beginning of class and stuff. He'd like give them clotheslines and then just like laugh at like the people's faces.
Using you as the entertainment aspect of to get the class loose.
Listening to his laugh, because it's such a funny laugh. And like I didn't realize what he was laughing at for like the longest time.
Wow.
And then I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like I got smartened up, you know. And then and then I started enjoying it too. It was pretty funny.
That is awesome. That's awesome. So, and was this? I guess Jay was with ROH. Have you ever done anything with ROH through Jay Lethal, or?
So before coronavirus hit, like I was announced for their women's tournament.
Okay. Okay.
Ah,
So yeah, I was about to have my ROH debut, and then
wow.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Well, I mean, we've seen you in you know, like you said, I'm sure you had to take a good bit of time off, just like everybody else. But over the last couple months, last several weeks, especially, you talked about being a shooter. Like you did this. Was it Josh Burnett's Bloodsport that you just did a week or two ago?
yeah, that
you
was
won
last
that
Sunday.
tournament. Yeah. Was
Yeah.
it Allison Kay? You tapped her out, right?
Yeah, I tapped out Layla Hirsch in my first match, and then I tapped out Allison Kay in my second match.
Gotcha.
So,
That was awesome. So now that was one of those where the way you win it was by submission, right?
it's either submission or knockout.
Or knockout. Okay, gotcha. Man,
Yeah,
that's
no
crazy.
pinfalls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that blood sport concept is so cool to me because, you know, in of course a weekend with the collective with GCW, they've got your normal wrestling matches, and then you've got this event with no ring ropes,
Yeah.
which is incredible. Talk about how the fans responded to that, because, you know, that was a big weekend for wrestling, and that was
Yeah.
perhaps the most unique event of the entire weekend.
I feel like we got a huge pop. Like
Wow.
I feel like after seeing like an entire weekend of pro wrestling,
Mhm.
then you get like, okay, you've seen like death matches, you've seen
Mhm.
hardcore matches, you've seen crazy like flipping matches, you've seen like lucha stuff, like all this crazy different styles of wrestling, and then like you get all these like heavy hitters that come in like that are just freaking like warriors.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like I don't know, man. I just felt like it was like a battle, and I don't think that like any of the people that were like there like the whole weekend that got to watch like the other wrestling shows,
Yeah.
like I don't think they were prepared for what we brought, you know.
Right.
And I think that they loved it, you know. It was just like it was unreal. I feel like that was like some of the loudest reactions, and there was like half, you know, like a quarter of the people were allowed to be there, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
they were loud, man. They were
Wow.
really loud. And it was just such a great feeling to wrestle in front of people again. Like, I
Yes.
mean, I wrestled at Mission Pro,
Mhm.
and they had people there, but it wasn't like as like it was loud, but like, man, like this, the way that the fairgrounds were set up, it was like an amphitheater, man. It was,
Wow.
it felt like, I don't know, just, it was great. Like, I was so happy to be there. And then just to be able to like be there with all of those like superior athletes, you know, like all of these people are like very dangerous people, you know,
Mhm.
and like
Mhm.
to be among them and like have their respect is like is the best, you know. And then
Yeah.
like to come out on top and win that, that's like the highest accolade of, that's like the biggest accomplishment of my life, you know.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it-
awesome. Well, congratulations, by the way. That was
Thank
awesome.
you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I'm still like on cloud nine.
As you should be. You know, it's funny, coming out of that, social media was ablaze, and everybody's like, AEW, NXT, sign her now.
Yeah.
You know, which makes all the sense in the world. And you have interesting ties to all of those. You just mentioned Mission Pro, where of course you battled the NWA Women's Champion Thunder Rosa.
Oh.
And
Can I
talk
just say
about-
can I just say real quick, GB and I were talking about this before we got on with you, and I watched that live, and actually y'all's match was the main reason I paid to watch it on, I believe it was Title Match
Oh.
Network, and just because, you know, you're our pal from SHW, and
Yeah.
Thunder
Right.
Rosa's been one of my favorites for a while, so like I was like, oh,
It's so sick.
I don't know who to root for here, but but I know it's going to be a crazy match, and it's going to be awesome. And of course, you guys stole the show, and what was so cool about it was that both of you kind of have the MMA background mixed with pro wrestling, and so you guys were brawling, but it was also technical, and you were a lot of submissions going on. Like, it was just such a great match. And I told GB, and I'm not blowing smoke here, like that match could have main evented a national television show. Like I could see that main eventing Dynamite, like, for crying out loud. Like, why is that not on national television? It was great. I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Like, I'm trying, man. I'm doing everything I can. I'm just trying to go out there and kill it like as much as possible, just to try to grab some attention, you know. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, you know, I just try to keep doing like the next like right thing, you know, and trying to make like the best decisions like for my career, and yeah, man, hopefully I'll wind up somewhere.
Yeah. It's interesting because, you know, we were watching Monday Night Raw a couple of weeks ago, and all of a sudden I'm looking and I'm like, wait, I love you, Bianca Belair. However, I see someone I know. It's Lindsay Snow. And I'm just like, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know. So how did that happen?
Well, I had been doing a little bit of extra work for WWE, like the previous weeks. Like I was doing like the Raw Underground stuff,
Right.
and like I was like super bummed because like I wasn't able to get to show out in like the Raw Underground ring, which is like, oh, like that was like made for me. So I was like, man, and then like you know, so I was doing the extra work there, and then like all of a sudden this opportunity for Bloodsport disappeared, you know. And I'm like, man, all these opportunities are knocking, like you gotta let them all in. But yeah, I started doing extra work for WWE, and then one of the talent liaisons reached out to me, and he was like, hey, would you want to do some other work, you know, such and such date, this is like the minor details. And then I was like, heck yeah, like I would love to, like any opportunity to get to show off like more than just like my actual wrestling, like my acting skills or whatever, my crazy faces that I make, you know, like any of that stuff, like I'm down. So I got to, that was a really cool opportunity that I got to take advantage of recently. So
and you definitely have a unique look, so I'm sure that when you were down there, they were like, okay, we got to put her on camera doing something, you know, in this backstage vignette or whatever it might be, because you just have such a great unique look that you don't see every day, you know, in the women's division at WWE or AEW or anywhere else. It's just a great look. So that's why I'm like, oh, of course she's on here. This is great. I'm glad they're finally using you for something. But I speaking of WWE, that reminds me, you actually went through the Performance Center. Was it last year or a couple years ago?
It was 2017. I had a tryout for WWE, but I hadn't really had any matches yet. So like I had maybe had like 10 matches, and then you know.
So how did that opportunity come about, though?
Oh, dude, I aced it. But they just wanted me to get more seasoned, you know?
Yeah.
Because like I feel like if you've already started wrestling, then like they can't teach you like how to unlearn bad habits, you know what I'm saying? So like so say like if you're really young in the business but you've already started wrestling, then like they can't make you like one of their babies per se, you know. So they want you to like go out and get seasoned and then like maybe come back in a few years. So
Gotcha. You were also mentioning too about the Raw Underground, and as you were talking about the Bloodsport event that you just had, it made me think that I feel like that's what Raw Underground should have been. I feel
like that's maybe what they were reaching for.
Right,
you know?
right. And I just feel like what you did at Bloodsport was like everybody's super into that, but like WWE Raw Underground couldn't quite get that or make it that realistic or something. I don't know.
Well, I just feel like the girls that they have there, the ones that are capable of that, weren't given other girls that are capable of that. And when I showed up, it was real cool because they're like, oh, yeah, we've trained with her before, you know, because like I've trained with Marina and Shayna and Jessamine before, with Josh Barnett, actually. And funny enough. So, like, you know, I'm tied to all of them. Like, we've all trained together and stuff. And so when I showed up, they were like, yo, Shane, like, but you know, sadly, like the ladies matches were getting scrapped at that point. So it was just like it was unfortunate timing on my part, but now looking back, I'm kind of glad because then I was able to go to Bloodsport and really just like be who I am and like show everyone like what I did during this pandemic and how much of a different person I am now and how much of a different fighter I am now.
Yeah. You know, one of the intriguing things I think about women's wrestling right now is it's different in the sense of, you know, on the men's side of things, you have to have all of this experience before you can be considered by any of the big companies. And in the women's movement, it's kind of different. You know, you just need to be able to do your thing, which I think is really cool. And so what you are doing and what you have done. I mean, from the first day I saw you, I'm like, oh, she's a star. Like, we have
Oh,
to look
thank
out
you.
for her. Like, absolutely. And so I have to ask this, do you have a preference in terms of where you want to end up? I know some people have certain places as targets that they want to end up. For you, what does that look like?
As long as I get to go to Japan, like that's
Mhm.
all I've ever like really had my sights set on is wrestling in Japan, and being able to just like go there and experience the culture, like the wrestling culture over there, because it's like so much like crazier, and I feel like my style would be appreciated kind
Yes.
of over there.
Mhm.
And I think that like well, I'm hoping that once the gates open up, you know, once the
Mhm.
world starts turning again,
Yeah.
hopefully
Right.
hopefully I'll be able to get over there. Like
Yeah.
that's you know, definitely high up there on my list. Obviously, like everybody wants to get signed, man. Like
Right.
I can't make me choose which one. I mean, whichever one offers me more money. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Makes
um
sense.
no, I mean, I definitely, I want to be somewhere where I feel like I'll be used, and like my talent will be appreciated, and like maybe I can, you know, try to get jujitsu out there on like another level, like another platform, like a more, because like usually people that watch jujitsu, like people know about jujitsu and stuff, but like usually people that like watch jujitsu and stuff, like they're practitioners, you know, like they
Yeah.
aren't like mainstream fans, you know.
Yeah.
So like I hope to like that's my mission. Like no.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but like no, I definitely want like I want more people to be into like training and like more into like martial arts,
Yeah.
because I feel like the world would be a lot less of an angry place if you just like sat around and practiced murder like a couple hours a week. So
You, you know, this is kind of a changing the subject a little bit, but you made me think about this when you were talking about Jay Lethal laughing at you when, like, you would do shoot holds in the ring and like you had trouble kind of, you know, changing your style. Like, I'm curious, like, if you are in a professional wrestling match, have you ever accidentally, you know, like just kind of forgotten and done something like a
not on
shoot
accident.
hold? Not on accident. So, well, then there's the other part of my question. I feel like
Mhm.
if there's somebody that is dangerous in the ring or somebody that maybe have bad intentions in the ring, you would definitely be the wrong person to do that to, because you do know all these shoot moves and shoot holds. Has that ever happened?
Funny story. If you go check out my Twitter, there's a pinned tweet,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, this chick tried to break my neck, and so I ripped her knee off.
I saw
Oh,
that.
wow.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
Wow.
I like that
Like, that's mean.
you pinned it at the top too, to like let everybody
Mhm.
know, hey,
Yeah.
this is what's gonna happen.
Well, okay, so like I wouldn't have pinned it if it didn't go viral.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So that's crazy. Was this chick literally like intentionally just trying to hurt people, or and you specifically?
Wow.
Yeah, like she has a history of trying to hurt Americans.
Ah,
Mm.
okay.
And
Until she faced
American Kaiju. Yeah.
Right.
until she faced the pint-sized powerhouse.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like it. I like it. Well,
yes.
that's crazy. So I'm curious. You know, strictly from a professional wrestling match standpoint, do you have a favorite opponent or a favorite match that you've had in your few, what are we, 4-year career at this point?
Dude, yes. I have so many favorite opponents. Oh man. Of course, Danny, she's up there. I love throwing her through walls and getting thrown through walls by her.
Well, but by the way, to cut you, sorry to cut you off, but I meant to tell you at the beginning, I don't know if you saw our countdown show, which was a few weeks ago, leading into our 2-year anniversary. We did a top 10 moments in SHW history,
Uh-huh.
and you and Danny getting extreme in the action building made it on our top 10 list. Just
Oh,
FYI.
dang. What number were we?
I want to say 8.
Yeah.
So I mean, but hey, top 10. Come on, top 10.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Oh, all right. Okay. Well, maybe I shouldn't have brought it up. But anyways, you
No.
mentioned throwing her through the wall, and it made me think of, yeah, that was.
No, I love wrestling Danny. Man, Thunder Rosa was sick. Trish Adora, dude. Trish she's I don't know why she's not signed, honestly.
Right.
Like,
Right.
she's sick. She's so sick. Dude, who else? Man, there's a bunch of people that I want to wrestle. I want to wrestle AK again, Allison K. I want to wrestle her.
Yeah.
She's so dope. She's so like talented and she's very like well trained in jiu-jitsu too. So like I really really loved our match at Bloodsport. That's probably my like top match. Let's see, who else? Oh, I got to wrestle this chick in Puerto Rico a couple of times. Her name's Roxy. She was super good. It was crazy though because she doesn't speak English and I don't speak Spanish. So like that was fun.
Well, so kind of talk us through that a little bit. How does something like that work when you're trying to do your match? When you're trying to talk in the ring, like how do you communicate?
Well, I mean, that's the cool thing about wrestling is that like you don't have to speak the same language to understand wrestling. So like like everybody always talks with their hands anyway, so it's like you can kind of get the feeling for what's about to happen. And you pick up words here and there. Like I'll point to something and I'll say it and then she point to it and then she say it, so that was cool. Yeah, pretty much. Just like she taught me little words here and there, and then I taught her little words here and there. And I was like, I had a really good feeling, I was like, yeah, I was feeling all great, Then like the next day, I'm like going to go like order my breakfast. I'm gonna go order my breakfast at the little like bakery like down the street from my hotel, and I like order in Spanish, right? And and then like the guy goes, okay, your total is and like talks back to me in English, and I was like, dang it.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, I tried. And he was like, yeah, but your accent's funny.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible. So obviously pandemic has been crazy. Getting back to wrestling is nuts. For you, what would you like to see happen in women's wrestling in the next year? I know we've gone through kind of globally what they've called the women's revolution and evolution, et cetera, where women really are more in the forefront in pro wrestling. For you in the next year, what would you like to see happen?
For me, well, personally, I just want to see it just to continue to keep going on like this up streak, like this upward momentum that we've been having, that we started having, with Bull and Medusa, back in the day.
Yeah.
So like, I want to see it like go back, or I mean, not necessarily go back, but like go get that momentum building again, and then like continue to rise, because there's no reason why it won't, and there's no reason why there isn't an opportunity for it to happen, because there's so many talented ladies out there right now, and like even like the ones that are training right now, like so I think about like Ronda Rousey a lot, like how when she was first coming to like the forefront of the UFC, she inspired so many young girls to go out there and start training to be the next Ronda Rousey. Yeah. So she was inspiring her future competition, and like I think about that a lot for pro wrestling, because like I see all these little girls coming up to me. Like there's this one little girl in particular, her name's Emily, and I swear this little girl is like my #1 fan. Her mom asked her the other day what she wanted to be for Halloween, and she's like, I want to be a little American Kaiju, so it's like so funny, right? but like I think about her with doing the same thing, you know, like I'm out there doing my thing, you know. I've taken her to the ring with me before and stuff. It was pretty fun, but you know, like I feel like I hope that I'm inspiring like my competition, you know, like I want girls to like, cause like that's what Rhonda did, you know, like she inspired women and like young girls to like start training and going like getting after it, you know, like I just feel like that's like I feel like that's what wrestling, that's the era that wrestling is going to follow too, like just like how UFC has followed, like now you've got like Thug Rose and stuff like that, you know, out there, like just absolute killers. And like that she wouldn't have gotten, like, not to say that she wouldn't have gotten to be that because of, or not because of Rhonda didn't do it first, you know, but like because Rhonda did do all that and because she did lay that groundwork, that set the road, that paved the road for Rose to follow, you know. So yeah, I just want to see women's wrestling continue to grow and continue to be this amazing community that it's become. And I feel like it's just gonna get cooler and like we're gonna do crazier stuff. And I feel like there's a lot of lunatics out here right now, so I'm happy to be one of them.
Awesome.
I got to tell you, it's been so good to talk to you again because, like I said, the last time we saw you was in March, which, by the way, 2020 has felt like a 10-year span. Am I wrong? Right? Am I wrong? Like it's
but
just
the day the earth stood still.
Right. And so we were talking to, well, we have a different guest on every week, and I feel like most of the time we talk to people, they're always saying the same thing. Like 2020 has been the longest year ever, and it's crazy to think last time we saw you was in March because it feels like so much longer ago. And it's just good to finally see you again, and albeit, you know, over the internet, but it's still cool to be able to talk to you and kind of catch up a little bit. So real quick before we let you go, though, I do want to let the people know where they can find you across the internet. And of course, I know you have a pro wrestling tees store.
Oh,
boom,
boom, nice.
It is. So tell everybody where they can find you.
I was just thinking about, man, like in March, like I was so tan. And now I'm not tan at all. And like that's probably like the thing that I lost the most during quarantine. So anyways, you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at the American Kaiju Power, KAIJU POWER, and then you can find me on Facebook at the American Kaiju Lindsay Snow.
There you go. And do you have any other matches or anything down the pipeline coming up in the next couple months that you could talk about?
Yeah, I've got a couple. Well, I can only say one because the other one hasn't been announced yet. But
fair enough.
I have SWE Fury on November 7th in Texas. So I'll be coming back to Texas and gonna go raid some Buc-ee's because those are like the best gas stations ever. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten lost in one of those things before, but dude, the last time I went to Texas, a fan brought me 1.5 pounds of beef jerky. So that was pretty tight.
Wow. 1.5 pounds of beef jerky? Wow.
Yeah, dude. I was scared to like fly home with it, but they were like, oh no, you're not going to have any problems. But like, okay, so like my coffee though, right? Cause you know, I have my own coffee and my own tea now.
That's right. Tell everybody about that real quick.
Oh yeah. I got Kaiju coffee and Kaiju tea. You can purchase them or message me for more details about them.
Your pal David Ali is always plugging it, by the way.
Yeah. He loves that stuff. I think he might like, man, I got to be careful around him because like, I don't know. He might like try to push me down and then try to take my coffee.
Well, I'll let you finish the story and then I'll tell you about David Ali here in just a second. But go ahead.
I don't remember what I was talking about now. Go ahead.
Your coffee and you were talking about your coffee and your.
Oh yeah, my coffee. My bad. So my coffee. Like the first time that I flew with it, right? This is also another tanning story. So the first time I flew with my coffee, I didn't realize that I needed to take it out of my bag, you know? because like if you don't take it out of your bag, then like they end up having to search you and stuff like that, because like when they x-ray it, it's like the same, it looks the same as explosives. So anyways, yeah, look like me and then carry coffee through TSA, and then they were like, oh, like what's on your, like, what is this, you know? And I'm like, oh, it's just coffee, you know? And I'm just like,
sure
what's
it
going
is.
on, you know? And then they're like, excuse me, ma'am, we're going to need to swipe, or we're going to need to swab the outside of every package that you have.
Oh my God.
And then your hands on top of it. So it just spray tanned. So I had fake tanner on my hands, right? And then I guess that also pulls up as explosives.
It's like a residue. Yeah. Oh, geez.
And so then they're like, ma'am, you're going to have to wait for a female officer to come up and assist you for additional screening. And I'm like, oh, this for coffee?
Oh my goodness, that is awesome. So we were talking about David Ali, and the reason I knew about your coffee was because he's always plugging it on like Instagram or whatever. But so David Ali, you and him have kind of had like a back and forth, like kind of, I don't know if you call it a feud or whatever you want to call it. He talks trash, you kind of give it back to him, whatever. So a couple weeks ago, our very own Gerard here sat down for an interview with David Ali and got caught in the crossfire between Ali and Owen Knight, and actually took a kick to the how do I say
coffee beans?
The coffee beans. How do I say it politely in front of a lady? Yes, the coffee beans. And so yeah, we were a little. Yeah, that's what I said. Not the beans. But yeah, so we're a little bitter at David Ali the last couple of weeks. But
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, can you believe that guy? Now let's spend the rest of the show burying David Ali. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's the worst. He's such a jerk.
Right? Anyways. Awesome. Well,
that's all I got. That's the worst I can say.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good. You're going places, lady. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I get paid the big bucks.
I'm telling you, Lindsay. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been an absolute blast. And like I said, we have missed you. It's been over 6-7 months, however long it's been, and it's just been good to finally talk to you and catch up a little bit. So thank you for joining us, and good luck with everything coming up down the road.
Thank you. Well, you guys just got to yell at Gary some more. Yell at Gary and Dylan. Be like,
because we want to see you back.
What's up?
Absolutely.
We can't wait to have you back for sure.
I can't wait to be back. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right, guys, what a fantastic interview that was. Boy, Lindsay Snow is like doggone cool. I like her.
She is the best. And like I said to her, like, it's just been so good to catch up with her because I mean, we really haven't seen her or had a chance to talk to her since the last SHW show that she was at, which was SHW 18. So
that's right.
Which feels like 100 years ago.
It does feel like a long time. And it's hard to believe that, my Lord, it's almost November, which means we're almost out of 2020. Thank the Lord.
Finally.
It's the longest year ever. But it's interesting because, we did the best, the top 10 moments of the last 2 years. I don't know if we're going to get around to doing like a best of 2020 or if, all of these other folks doing awards and whatnot or what they're going to do. But it's all going to be very interesting to kind of watch how all of this stuff unfolds as we get closer and closer to the end of the year.
It would be hard for SHW to do a best of 2020 because I feel like everything that happened for SHW in 2020 is a best of. Like it's the best. Like it's everything we do,
cream of the crop. So
right, the cream of the crop. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I mean, it's like, how do you pick what's the best? It's all the best, and of course, I'm a little biased, and we're both.
But it's been fantastic. It's very hard to look at a low in 2020 for SHW. So
exactly. One thing I wanted to bring up before we sign off here, and this is totally unrelated to the rest of the show. But our pal Ray Lloyd, who a lot of you guys may know as Glacier from back in the WCW days, he's got a podcast that comes on Facebook every Monday and every Friday at noon. And he actually just announced earlier this week that he is officially moving back to Atlanta. He's been down in Florida. Oh. And, of course, you may know this, GB. I think I've told you before, talked about it. He's been filming a movie. And I got to, as well as our buddy Alex Autry, got to be extras as the commentary team in this wrestling movie. anyways, so he's been down there doing that for the last couple years. He's moving back and is officially joining the Nightmare Factory, and will be running it because he had already been running One Fall Power Factory with QT Marshall, and now Cody has come in and they transformed it into the Nightmare Factory. And now Ray will be actually moving back here in the next week or two to officially take up residence and be working at the Nightmare Factory full time. So he made that announcement earlier this week, and he was very excited about it. And he's a buddy of ours, so I'm very excited for him. And so so if anybody's out there and you're wanting to be a wrestler or get into the business, everybody always says you got to find you a great wrestling school to get started. And let me just tell you that outside of the WWE Performance Center, I would say that the Nightmare Factory in Norcross, Georgia, would probably be the next best thing. Or at least even on par with the Performance Center, probably. So definitely look into that. It's Nightmare Factory, Norcross, Georgia. And I was just really happy for our buddy Ray because he was super psyched about it earlier this week when I talked to him. So
that's great. That's fantastic.
So, good for him. And, hey, we got a big show coming up November 13th. You heard us talking about a couple of new match announcements earlier this week with Very Morales, Ashen Star. Lethal Poison will be in action. And we cannot wait for the 13th to get here. It's gonna. It feels like it's taking a while, but like you said before, at least it's not
long.
At least it's not 6 months like it was during the lockdown. So
that's right. And remember, of course, tickets will be on sale at the door at the Action Building. So make plans to be there. As we have seen for the last 2 shows, I know that the powers that be were nervous because we usually do a lot of pre-sales and things like that. But you, the SHW faithful, have been amazing. And so I see from time to time people saying, man, I wish I had been at that show. Man, I wish I would come. Well, I'll tell you, now is a great time to start planning to be with us on November the 13th. You've got about 3 weeks. So make your plans, get there early so you can get your ticket. And you can experience live and in living color SHW 21, which will be amazing. The first title defense for Joe Black, and what a first title defense.
Ooh.
Are you kidding me?
Gunner,
Gosh, I don't know who else I would have picked, but I certainly wouldn't have picked Gunnar Miller as my first opponent. So, good Lord.
Yeah. And I feel like we say it every month. I don't know how they're going to top it next month. And somehow, some way, it always tops itself. And we've never not been amazed after an SHW show. So
that's right.
We are super excited about it. And again, like we said, it's November 13th. It's a week removed from the first Friday. So don't let that confuse you. Normally we're the first Friday. This time it's the second Friday. That's right. And like GB mentioned earlier, it's Friday the 13th. Ooh. So who knows what might happen?
Who knows? But make sure you're there. It's going to be amazing.
Exactly. But between now and then, of course, we have more episodes of this show coming to you. And so next week, we will see you again for another edition of SHW.
This is our wrestling.